bit of an intro video to give you the basics on what I did to improve my eyesight and how you can improve your eyesight too. Welcome. So my name is Jake Steiner. I used to have -5 diopter, high myopia, and I have 20/20 eyesight. I didn't have LASIK. I don't wear contact lenses. I didn't use eye exercises to get back to 20/20 or eye vitamins or any other stuff that you usually see online. If you don't understand what caused something, how can you fix it? Before we get into the steps, my strong recommendation would be do the 7-day free email guide that's on endmyopia.org. I linked that below. That gives you more background. And mainly if you're not familiar with Google Scholar, it's scholar.google.com, that lets you search just clinical science, published peer-reviewed stuff primarily, to let you look at causality. So all the things that we talk about in summary in this video, that you can actually look up, is this scientifically accurate, or is this just some internet unicorn farming conspiracy theory nonsense? Your myopia is caused by too much close-up. Initially, your myopia was something called pseudomyopia that you can look up on Google Scholar. That is not actually something wrong with your eyes. It's just there's a focusing muscle in your eye, and when you look up close for too long, that muscle locks up, because that muscle, the closer you look, the tighter it is to move the lens in your eye. So when you look at something up close, the lens in your eye is held tight by this muscle. If you do this for 10 hours a day, at some point you just get a muscle spasm. It doesn't fully relax. So that's pseudomyopia that you want to look up on Google Scholar, right? Another keyword to look up on Google Scholar is near induced transient myopia. That's kind of long, NITM. Near induced transient myopia. Near induced meaning from too much close up, transient meaning temporary, and myopia you already know. So you go to the optometrist with near-induced transient myopia from too much close-up. They give you glasses, right? Because what do glasses do? They move the focal plane back further in your eye. And this gets into optics. At some point, you should understand some basics of too, but we're skipping that because this is just a quick summary. The glasses basically overcome the spasm of your ciliary muscle. Your ciliary muscle is locked up, so it's locked up in close-up mode. You can't see well at distance. And the way you can fix that immediately without making the muscle relax is moving the light further back in your eye with a minus lens. So this does not address your pseudomyopia. It doesn't address you staring at screens too much. It just takes away the problem by fixing the symptom, right? So the lens seller is happy, they sell you some glasses. You're happy, you don't have to change your screen addiction. Everybody's happy. Now you have low diopter glasses. You start with under 2 diopters, right? You wear those for a year or two, you go back to the optometrist, now you need stronger glasses. Causality, again, this is called lens-induced myopia, meaning your glasses cause myopia. Your glasses cause progressive myopia. So your eyes get more and more myopic as you wear minus lenses. Your eye basically elongates because the glasses give it the signal saying my eye is too short. So basically your myopia is two things. It's a close-up focusing muscle spasm because you're staring at your screen all day, right? And then it becomes lens-induced because instead of fixing the focusing muscle spasm, you wear glasses, instant quick fix, but you're paying for the instant quick fix with more glasses down the road. You can't wear your full minus glasses for close-up. Like the glasses you wear for distance vision are too much correction for close-up. They call something called hyperoptic defocus, which again you should look up on Google Scholar. Hyperoptic defocus is the main stimulus that increases your myopia. So the first thing you want to do is you want to change your glasses for close-up to be just strong enough for close-up, so you don't get hyperoptic defocus. Basically, you want to reduce your correction to where you see clearly to your screen, but not further. Now, this is a shortcut of steps. Like you want to read a lot more of how to reduce, how does it affect your astigmatism, keeping the right diopter ratio between left and right eye. There's a bunch more to this, but you wanted quick steps. So these are the quick steps. Reduce your close-up glasses to where you see clearly to your screen only. That's the first step, right? Now, the second step is you really want to measure your progress. First, you want to measure centimeters. And again, I'm giving you the short version here. How far can you see until there's blur? All myopia is, right? All that short-sightedness is you can't see clearly to theoretical infinity. Like things should just get smaller. If you have no myopia, things never get blurry, they just get smaller, right? So you want to check how far can you see before there's blur. That's where myopia starts. That's all actually the optometrist does with a fancy equipment, is measure how far you can see before there's blur. All myopia is distance to blur. All diopters is another way to say I can see clearly to this distance. The formula of converting centimeters, how far you can see, to diopters, which is the strength of your glasses, the focal plane change of your glasses, also on endmyopia.org, link below if you want to see that formula. So basically all you want to do is how far can I see till blur? You measure that a few times a day, you measure it a few times a week eventually. You keep a log so you know where you're at, where you're starting out today. The next thing you want to discover is active focus. Active focus basically means you can see you look at something that's a text that's slightly blurry. You can clear that text up. If it's just a little bit blurry, you can blink and look at it again and it'll be clear. A light blink, not a forced blink, for the text to be clear. Like once it just happens once, kind of like almost by accident, you can do it again. Like once you figured it out, it's pretty easy to do. That's the big key piece of improving your eyesight, is active focus. But once you're at that point where you spent like a month, you got it, you understand diopters, you understand your vision, you have a log, you go, okay, I don't need X amount of diopters for distance vision. You can reduce it a little bit, right? Like you don't need to see 20/15 on eye chart, 20/30 is good, for example, right? You want to make it so where your distance vision distance at the far end has a little bit of blur. You don't want to stop wearing your glasses. Made a video on that too. You just want to reduce it to where there's a little bit of blur at the far end. And now you use the active focus that you've already learned how to do to challenge that distance, right? Like you see a street sign on the other side of the street, or you see a car license plate like down the street and it's a little bit blurry, you blink and you clear it up. And you build that into habit. That is the thing that improves your eyesight. That stimulus of challenging your eyes, of going, oh, it's a little bit blurry, but it doesn't have to be. Like I'm adding a little bit of challenge. I blink, clears up. And that habit combined with being outside at least, I like to say 2 hours a day, and that could be a hobby. Like part of what you will do down the road at some point is address your lifestyle a little bit, right? Like find reasons to go outside. You don't have to find them today, but you want to kind of work towards, why do you want better eyesight? Why do you not want to be blind and just staring at screens all day? But that's kind of a longer term thing. Like ultimately, really what you want, the step is active focus at a distance, right? Like you want to get outside. And if it's right now, if you're not going outside at all, then it's not 2 hours and it's 30 minutes, right? Like and in a couple weeks, it's an hour, and go for longer walks and discover your neighborhoods, or poke around online for what people do that involves distance vision. It doesn't have to be outside. It could be in a bowling alley. It could be anything that gives you an opportunity to not stare at a screen up close and habitually engage challenging your distance vision. That improves your eyesight. And that improves your eyesight at about a quarter diopter, 0.25 diopters every 3 to 4 months. Right? I made another detailed video on that, on the rate of improvement. Initially, you might improve really quickly. Some people get a diopter in the first few months, right? Like 90 days, a diopter is possible. But ultimately, you kind of get to the quarter diopter every 3 to 4 months improvement rate. And that takes you all the way back to 2020, right? Like it's done it for me. It's done it for thousands and thousands of people. But these are the basic steps, right? Like basic steps is just, first you want to address close-up diopters. That's key. Like you do not want to wear distance vision for close-up. And once you stop wearing distance vision glasses for close-up for a while, when you put on distance vision glasses during close-up, you're going to get dizzy and feel weird because it's just too much correction. You do that, you start measuring so you know where you're at, you figure out active focus, you address your distance vision, you address some of your lifestyle screen addiction, and you reverse your myopia.